Hey guys, I'm Sankalpata and you're watching Bookgeeks India, which is a channel where I make book related videos. In this video, I bring to you my September reading wrap up. I talk to you about all the books that I read in the month of September. But before we begin this video, let me tell you a little bit about the statistics of my reading. So I read a total of 8 books in the month of September, and most of these books were in the physical format. A couple of them were audiobooks, and one was on Kindle. I read a total of 2 psychological thrillers, one true crime inspired fiction come memoir, one amazing gem of Indian literature, translated Indian literature, which is basically Odia literature, and one spiritual book, and the other one is a history inspired fiction, a history inspired anthology. And I also read 2 amazing romances. So I did have a great reading month this September, and yeah, I'm so excited to talk to you about all the books that I read. Now, before we delve into this video further, I want to tell you that I'm dividing this entire video in sections which are genre wise. So if you're looking for a specific genre, I will put the timestamps down below, and if you want to check out romances, you can go and check out romances. If you want to check out mysteries, you can check out mysteries. But I would certainly recommend you to watch the whole video because that's the fun part, and I did read some amazing books across genres. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So beginning with the mystery thriller, psychological thriller genre, the book number 1 that I have for you that I read in the month of September is this one, The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. And oh my god, did I love it? I absolutely did. It is an amazing mystery, a dark, twisty mystery, and I just loved this whole setting of the book. I mean, I became a huge fan of this ambience of the Paris apartment. And this ambience that I so loved, let me tell you a little bit about it. So there is this secluded street in Paris, and in that secluded street, there is this apartment building, a very old, vintage, charming kind of apartment building, which has really luxurious apartments, but an old money vibe, definitely a lot of old money vibes. And this apartment building is obviously like vintage and uber rich because every floor has a single apartment and very few people live there. And it is here in this building that our main character, one of the main characters at least, Benjamin, lives. Now Benjamin is not a French guy, he's a British guy, but he's come to Paris. He's a writer and investigative journalist, and he's currently writing a piece that nobody knows about. And while he's doing that, there comes a day when he gets a sudden call from his half sister Jess, who's trying to escape from a very bad job in Britain, and she just wants to come there and start over new. And in the beginning, Benjamin is kind of reluctant to do that. He doesn't want Jess to come over at his place and stay, but she is definitely his half sister, so he reluctantly agrees to do that. And she's supposed to come, he leaves the directions how to come and all that. But when she does arrive, she sees that Benjamin is nowhere to be found. Like there is no trace of that guy. Somehow she does manage to get herself inside Benjamin's apartment, but when she does, she has no clue how Ben is affording this place, because this place obviously screams like old money vibes, and Jess has no clue. But at the same time, she also understands that something is fishy. She starts digging deeper into the people. She starts asking around, and when she does, she understands they all are hiding some secrets. They are not very forthcoming with their answers, and she also has that uncanny feeling that maybe danger is just lurking around the corner. But she has no choice, right? She has to find out where Ben is, and that is like the whole crux of the story. I love how mysterious all these characters are. Like, I love books that have these old money people who have their filthy, dirty secrets, and this book has got that vibe. When I talk about the pacing, the first 25% is like really fast. You are immediately sucked into the mystery. You are on edge. You want to read more and get to know what happens next. The next 30% is like so. Not much happens in the story, but the ending is just beautiful. Beautiful as in amazing, because the end brings all of that together. And there were just certain parts of it that I was able to guess. I mean, I was always thinking what will happen next, who does it, and what is the end result. But I could not guess the mystery. So for me, it was definitely a win-win. I have already loved Lucy Foley's The Guest List, but when it comes to this book, I think I will rate it this one better than that, because I did like it, but I have read like Stranded on an Island kind of mysteries before also. But this apartment thing is really new to me. So I loved it very much. And talking about the characters, there's some amazing characters. There is this old socialite who is obviously mysterious. There is this guy who's always rude and angry, like always in a bad mood. There is this nice guy who gives off very different vibes, and then there is this young girl who's always on the edge of a nervous breakdown. And then also there is this concierge who is mysterious and secretive, and she seems to be everywhere but also nowhere. Like she's very, very reclusive. So all of these put together, I love the story, and I will certainly recommend you to go check this book out. It was amazing. The next book that I read the next mystery book that I read is Bring Me Back by B.A. Paris. Now, this is a book that is again by an author I have read a lot. I have read three of her books and I've enjoyed every one of them. I've read her The Dilemma, I've read her The Therapist, I've also read her Behind Closed Doors, and all those three books were really good. So, this is a book that I picked up on my audio book app Storytel. I picked it up because I was very sure that I would love a B.A. Paris book. So, this book is a psychological thriller and a couple kind of domestic drama come psychological thriller. So, whenever couples come into picture and there's a psychological aspect to it, I love it. This trend was first started by Gone Girl, and ever since then I am a fan of this trope. So this is the story of this couple who are very different from each other. Like one is very vivacious, one is very calm and comforting kind of person, and the guy in this couple, Finn, is almost 7-8 years older to the girl Layla. And the story starts 13 years before, when they were a couple together and they are very much in love. Finn wants to propose to Layla in a couple of days, but before he can do that, they go on a holiday together. And when they're coming back from that holiday, Finn stops his car at a particular place. He gets down to do some business, and when he's back, Layla is gone. She's just vanished and Finn has no clue. At least this is the story that he has told to the police. And now 12 years later, Finn is again in a relationship with Layla's sister, Ellen. Ellen, who is nothing like Layla. Ellen, who is much elder to Layla, and Ellen is just so different from Layla. But even then, they are in a relationship, they are a couple, they seem to love each other, and Finn has already proposed to her. The news of their marriage is out. But just when that happens, the psychological drama, psychological thriller part of the story begins. So Finn starts to get these cryptic mails on his mailbox, and then these very, very symbolic cryptic symbols start appearing in their lives, in their neighborhood, on their doorstep, and they're not able to figure out what is the reason behind this. Is Layla back, or is somebody deliberately torturing them? So like, this is the gist of the mystery, this is the gist of the blur, and I'm not gonna tell you anything more than this because you have to know it yourself when you read this book. For me particularly, this book did not turn out to be that great a read because I had set my expectations too high. So not a bad book in any case, but for me it was a little let down. The mystery part of it was really good because I could not guess what will happen in the end. But yeah, I have read better books by B.A. Paris. The third book, which is actually a true crime inspired fiction or a part memoir, it's a very short book. It's all about 80 pages or something. I read it on my Kindle. It's by an Indian author named Anuj Tikku. Anuj Tikku has written a lot of true crime books based on his own story, the story of the death of his father, the murder of his father by the serial killer Vijay Palande. And this is part 7 in that heptology. As of now, it's a heptology because there are like 7 parts. If I'm not wrong, there's also a web series coming out on this real story. This was a huge news event when it happened because Anuj Tikku is also a Bollywood actor, and when he was accused of murdering his own father, it became like this huge sensation. And Anuj Tikku has written this memoir, which is true crime and his own story and that of the murder of his father. This is his book 7, but a lot of it is true crime, but also a lot of it is fiction. So this book revolves around the life of the serial killer Vijay Palande, who's currently rotting in the jails of Maharashtra. Now Vijay Palande is a serial killer who's already convicted for 1 murder and is under trial for 3 more gruesome murders. Through this book, Anuj gives us a sneak peek into the lives of inmates, and on the other hand, he also tells us a lot about the corruption that goes on in jails. Like if you have the right kind of money, you can get anything like mobile phones, high quality liquor, excellent quality food and whatnot. And like I said, it's a short read. The tone is dramatic but also matter of fact. And when it comes to writing, I think definitely Anuj has improved a lot since his earlier books. But even then, there is a lot of scope for improvement, especially when it comes to keeping the reader hooked and urging her to turn pages after pages after pages. So that part of the writing is definitely lacking. But yeah, overall an okay read. A quick reminder guys, if you're enjoying watching this video, do give this video a thumbs up and also let me know how many books did you read in the month of September. So guys, the next genre that I want to talk to you about is romance, and I read two romance books this September. The first one is this one, The Enemy by Sarah Adams. Now, I've been seeing this book all over the internet. It's a lot on Amazon and featuring on a lot of Amazon bestseller lists. And I thought, why not give myself a chance and try and pick up Sarah Adams? After all, I've been seeing all her books, like most of her books on Amazon bestseller lists. So I got myself a copy, and I was not disappointed. I really agree, it's a very, very cute romance. If you're looking for something spicy, then maybe this is not your book to go to. But otherwise, if you're looking for cutesy, innocent kind of romance, then you should definitely get your hands on this one. This is basically the story of these two people, of course, two people, June and Ryan. Now, June and Ryan have known each other since high school. They were like your ultimate enemies, always at war with each other, always trying to bring the other down, always being very, very nasty with each other. There was always this tension between them, but also a little bit of attraction, which is why at the end of high school, on the last day of high school, they were almost about to kiss when suddenly Ryan just withdraws from the kiss. And that is something that really pissed and embarrassed June so much that after almost a decade, like I think 12 or 13 years, she's still holding on to that grudge, and she's very, very particular that she wants her revenge from Ryan. And now, after all these years, after almost a decade, the opportunity has come to present itself because both of their best friends are getting married, and the marriage is happening in the same town where June lives. Ryan has to come there, and that is the perfect opportunity for June, except something else happens. As you can understand what really happens in these kind of stories, it's the perfect enemies to lover story, and I loved it so much. I'm already a big fan of this trope. Like, you don't need to convince me to get my hands on a trope like this. Now, what I also liked in this book are these characters. Both of them are very, very cute and adorable in their own ways, and both of them come from the food industry. So June has a donut cafe, and she owns this cafe, which is a big name in the place and area where she lives in. And Ryan is like really hotshot 3 Michelin star chef who's like a very, very big name in Chicago. So yes, very, very cutesy romance. If I tell you anything more than this, then I think it'll be a travesty, because this is the kind of romance that you have to get your hands on and read it yourself. But yeah, I loved it. I would definitely give it like 4.5 stars, if not 5, because it was that cute. The next book on my list, which I read in September, is Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey. Now, I'm not new to Tessa Bailey as an author because I've already read like 2 books by her. It Happened One Summer and Hook, Line and Sinker. Both I've read, which are part of the Bellinger sister series. I love those books. Those are like adorable. But I was new to this book. So I found it on my audiobook app. I use Storytel. So I picked it up, and this is a book that tells the story of these two characters. One, Georgie, she's the girl, and she is a professional clown. Like, she organizes these birthday parties and events for children where she plays the role of a professional clown. But Georgie has a problem. She's also the youngest member of this huge family in this small town, and this family is like the most premium family to have a renovation business. So everybody knows them, everybody knows the family, and because she's the youngest family member and also a clown, nobody treats her like an adult, nobody takes her seriously. So that is Georgie's problem. She wants to be treated like an adult. On the other hand, we have Travis. Travis is this hotshot baseball player who had to give up on this sport because of a serious injury, and now he's back in town, but he's all depressed and lonely because he doesn't know what to do with his life anymore. And as if that is not enough, his image is also not very helping, because he's always been accused of being a ladies man, a playboy, so that does not really help his prospect. So he also has an image issue, and he wants to change that. Now both of them sit together, plan it out, and figure out that if they get into a fake dating relationship, maybe both of their images will change. So they get into this relationship, and of course this is the fake dating trope, and you already know what happens in such a scenario, so I'm not gonna get any deeper than this. I would tell you one thing, that this book is like not as innocent and not like cutesy like the other one. This is like really intense and passionate. It has all those steamy scenes, spicy romance, but even then I did not like it that much, because maybe my hopes were again up due to having read Tessa Bailey before, so that did not happen. So I was a little let down. I think I'll give this book like 3.5 stars or something. Not the best romance that I've read, not one of the good romances, also a decent okay one-time read, and that's pretty much it. The next book that I have is a book on spirituality. I read only one book on spirituality, which is this one, Two Treasures, Buddhist Teachings on Awakening and True Happiness by Thich Nhat Hanh. Now, Thich Nhat Hanh is a monk, a Buddhist monk who's very, very famous. His books can be found in many bestseller lists on Amazon, and they are gaining a lot of popularity. This particular book, it's a very thin read, as you can see, and this is about these two teachings, or the two sutras from Buddhism, one of which is the 8 realizations of the great beings, and the other one is the discourse on happiness. The text is given first, and then the commentary on these are explained later. In addition to the text, we also have a short introduction about the monk told from the person who has also given the foreword, which is actually the foreword. I'm sorry. So Shantanu Seth has written the foreword, and he's explained and introduced the monk to us through his own personal experiences. And he especially talks about the time that he spent in the company of Thich Nhat Hanh, the monk, about their time together visiting various Buddhist sacred places in India. And there are a lot of things that I learned from this book. For example, one of the greatest things, one of the most important subject to meditate on in Buddhism is the concept of no self. That is, you let go of all the barriers, you let go of all the ego. So that is one thing. I did learn a lot of good things from this book, and I don't know how to say it, but there are certain things which are very, very new to me and also kind of difficult to follow for me. So for example, there are these 11 practical guidelines to follow in your daily routine, and these are like very, very difficult to follow. So what it tells you essentially is that when you pray to God, you should not pray for no sickness or no obstacles in life or easy success or to get paid also. So you should not be not just praying but also not hope for these things. But apart from that, do not be fooled by the thinness of this book. This book actually took me a lot of time to read because I was reflecting a lot on what I was reading. Like, it can be easy if you want to pick it up that way. For me, it turned out to be a profound read, a rather deep read, and I took my own time to get through it. So guys, the next book that I have for you is this one, Shared Truths, Tales from the Indosphere, curated by Ratul Chakrabarti. Now this is a book which is a collection of short stories and also a travelogue. Like, it has 7 chapters. It is basically an anthology and different chapters have been written by different people. So this one is by Indica. Indica is an initiative that focuses on Indic narratives, on dharmic fiction and dharmic reads in general. So like I told you, it has both fiction and non-fiction, but in the fiction case also, the short stories are written in such a way that the original history has not been tampered with or altered with, and the creative liberties that have been taken while paying respect to the core essence of the original stories. So altogether, the theme of this book is the ancient cultural, religious and civilizational link that was there between India and Cambodia, and all of this explores that. One of the chapters, which is actually a travelogue, has been written by a very dear friend to me. She's Kavita ji. I call her Kavita ji. Her real name is Kavita Krishna Migava. So she's written this beautiful chapter where she absolutely lovingly and so adorably, not adorably, actually it's the wrong word, but very heartwarmingly captures the cultural marvel that is the city of Angkor Wat and the city of Siem Reap. And she goes on this tour with her mother. So it's a mother-daughter duo who goes on this ancient discovery to Siem Reap, Cambodia. And it's a really personal, deeply personal narrative that reflects her upbringing, that reflects her bond, a deep connection with her mother, and also this deep connection that exists between India and Cambodia. So a beautiful piece altogether. I loved reading it. I so loved reading it, especially because I've also been to Siem Reap and I was just reliving all those moments that I had shared there. Apart from that, there are other short stories in this book that also cover a similar link. For example, there is a short story that connects the Indian Ramayana, like our Ramayana, to the Cambodian version of Ramayana, where it is called Riemkar. Another story talks about how there is a connection between Cambodian Ramayana, Riemkar, and Tamil version of Ramayana, both of which feature dragons. Now, dragons in Ramayana is something really exciting. And then there are other stories also that establish this ancient civil and also maritime link between India and Cambodia, and also between the Khmer Empire of Cambodia and the Chola Empire of India. Altogether, it's a beautiful read, a very informational read. A lot of information in this one, history-wise and culture-wise, and I loved reading it. And yes, I will definitely hold this piece of literature very, very close to my heart. So guys, finally we've come to the end of this video. I have just the last book to show to you, and I have to say this, out of all the books that I read, I think this was one of my most amazing reads, specifically so because it's such a hidden gem, such an underrated gem. I am pretty sure nobody knows about it. I don't know, I don't think anybody in my viewer list knows about it, and that's why it is such an amazing read. Like, many other books are very popular books, but not this one. So this is a book which is a regional literature gem. It was originally written in Odia and it's been translated from Odia to English, and this book was originally first published in the year 1897. So it's a classic of Odia literature. In Odia, it was first published as Cha Mana Atha Guntha, and the author of this book, Fakir Mohan Senapati, he is considered as the father of modern Odia literature. Now, the story of this book takes place in 1800s. Our main character in the story is this zamindar called Mangaraj, who is a very evil, wicked and devious man. This man is always on the lookout how he can grab more properties from people who are very naive and innocent and people who don't know much about these things. And how does he do it? He uses debt as a trap for these innocent people, and he then grabs their property. If you're wondering about the title, 6 1/3 acres, it's actually a piece of land that belongs to this childless young weaver couple whose property Mangaraj, despite having so much, is still after. Right in stark contrast to Mangaraj, his wife is a very devotional and pious and righteous woman who is very, very sweet and meek and docile. But Mangaraj does not value her. He instead values this other woman called Champa, and he showers all his attention on this girl. Now, Champa is much, much younger to him, and she, just like him, is also very wicked. And she's always helping him in devising all these wicked plans. And because of this, because Mangaraj has all his attention on Champa, she is the one who shines in the household. She is the one who is like the mistress of the household in terms of the authority and the power that she exercises. Now, the theme of this novel is rapacious greed, because after all, after having so much also, at the same time, it is also a commentary on the social evils that exist during that time, the evils that come with the zamindari system, the evils that come with British imperialism, and the impact of colonial India on the rural part of Odisha. Now, I love the way the book is written. The storytelling is very, very innovative. The narrations is full of sarcasm and wit, and that is how you will read it also. So the book is written in this way. There is this gossip monger who's talking to you, but at the same time, he's also telling you that I am a very truthful person. I don't spread gossips, but I'm telling you what I've heard from other people. I mean, so and so person says, but I'm not the one who's saying this. I'm not the one who's believing it. So it's a very, very innovative kind of style, and something that really matches with like rural backdrop. So amazing book, a real hidden gem of Indian literature. So go read this book. It is much more than a masala entertainer. Of course, it has entertainment, but there is so much more to this book. There is culture and history, heritage, and whatnot. So give this book a try. You will not be disappointed at all. So that's it from me in this video, guys. These were all the books that I read in the month of September. 5 books as physical copies, 1 book as a Kindle one, and 2 books as audiobooks. And do let me know how many books did you read in the month of September? What were your favorite reads? And let me know if you have read any of these books and did you like them. And that's it from me, guys. I will see you with another video super, super soon. Until then, this is Sankalpita signing off. Bye.